we never wanted to leave. We love this city. We saw an opportunity with the city, and if everyone leaves, you're never going to build anything.
So Stomping Ground isn't really so much an Ottawa store these days as much as it is really like an international brand that's selling.
It's become interesting. This year specifically, it is officially 50-50.
There's going to be a time where I get restless. I think I think definitely if we get it into a position where we feel too comfortable, we're going to go out and find discomfort somewhere. So
I keep trying to remind them, like, we're in the years we will later talk about. These are the golden years,
Yeah. Welcome back. In this particular episode, we're with our brothers, Josh and Naj. They own Stomping Ground, which is an incredible menswear store here in Ottawa, Canada. I call them my bigger brothers because we oftentimes reach out for help in the retail space, and they are incredibly helpful every single time with so much information. And clearly, they've done an incredible job over at Stomping Ground. So without further ado, here's Josh and Naj from Stomping Ground. Josh, Naj, Stomping Ground.
Yeah.
What's most exciting these days? What's happening with y'all?
We're 10 years old this year, so I feel like that's kind of first and foremost right now. 10 years flies, apparently. So,
yeah, it's 10 years. It feels like two. Like, honestly, it's hard for me to even imagine, 10 years. I think the thing that I'm most excited about, and I know Josh is also really excited about, is just the team that we have now. We have amazing guys. Super smart, super passionate, high emotional IQ, and it's just been such a difference maker. We have guys who come in every day who, on top of doing great work, are just a pleasure to be around.
Yeah.
And it's allowed Josh and I to take a step back and focus on other aspects of the business that even, 10 years in, still we're probably underserviced. So that's been the biggest change, kind of stepping back a little bit and seeing the guys, really step up and take on new roles within the business.
Yeah. It's kind of showing in the videos too these days, I feel like.
There's a very strong vibe, I feel. There's a real connectivity with the team. It's there. I keep trying to remind them, like, we're in the years we will later talk about. These are the golden years,
Yeah.
We've done this before. We've had this experience, and so I don't know, that's how I feel. I'm just trying to remind them, like, it's special, and the team we have right now is very special, and I'm excited to see what's next. Oh man, going into year 10, it's I don't know, it's a very good feeling.
Yeah. And feeling like year 2, which we just
Welcome.
Yeah, going into year 2 honestly feels like we started like yesterday. Seriously, I'm kind of like, sometimes I'm kind of surprised by, like, the momentum. Like, we just had our second year party here, and like folks are still showing up en masse, which is really exciting. And then clearly for y'all, with the warehouse sale of sorts that you had, like, that was insane. Like, clearly folks are still showing up.
Yeah. I think that is something that draws almost its own special customer who really, like, wants the hunt. To open with a lineup that literally bands around the building and down the block, and our neighbors weren't so happy with us, and but yet the overall vibe, people are happy, everyone's excited. For us, we get to make a little bit of room in the basement, and everyone walks away with a pretty awesome deal. So
Did someone put up a stink?
It's the glebe, So sometimes, things that are some things a little out of the ordinary, a little different. Totally get it. Someone was blocking my storefront one morning. I didn't know what was going on.
True.
But it's once every 2 years. So,
wow. We'll see.
We'll see.
Well, and are folks going next door and stuff too, though? Like, I feel like,
I mean, that's what I think. We're bringing people to the glebe who otherwise might not have been there that day. So I think for the most part, it's largely well received. Like, the glebe BAA has always been really awesome to us, promoting all the things that we do, and our neighbors are great. So no complaints there.
Yeah. And then 10 years coming up, anything exciting planned?
Yeah, we've got a few things planned.
Couple secrets.
Yeah, a few collaborations with some brands that we've developed great relationships with that we're really excited about. Doing a little party as well at some point. Something fun, intimate, maybe a little musical guest, maybe.
What can we talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want to
Yeah.
give too much and then nothing happens.
but it's okay to give away.
Yeah. But I think the collaborations we're really excited about. It's something that we haven't done much in the past, so
No.
10 years compared to a lot of other boutiques. And I think it's always been, anything we create, we feel has to be at bare minimum equally as good as the product it's adjacent to in the store.
We are our own worst
And-
enemies.
Yeah,
for that.
and
yeah.
the time and energy that goes into creating, a garment or an item and making sure that all of us love it equally has proven to be incredibly difficult. And only recently, we have appointed a creative and design associate at the store,
Oh, no way.
Desi or Kyle.
Okay.
And that's been a game changer. And, he's stepped in and really allowed us to take on projects like that. So he's going to be really
Cool.
instrumental to do
So
some of his collaborations. What's that?
That is background and stuff too.
Yeah, well, he actually owns the label Boredom.
Oh
When
yeah,
I was
right,
Boredom.
right,
Yeah. So he's just a creative. He could do a million different things, super talented. So we're super lucky to have him. And so we're working on I guess we could let it. We're doing one with Naked and Famous.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's coming to a close. Canadian salvage denim brand.
Yeah.
Really, we love them. They're amazing people,
Okay.
and they've been with us pretty much near since the beginning.
But the relationship also goes past that. We had a relationship with Tammy and the team, prior to that, and so I think at this point, for us to be able to celebrate 10 years with friends like that, that's what we're focused. I think with all the collaborations, really.
Sweet.
Just working with the people that we really, really enjoy.
Yeah, and whether Canadian or not, I see you guys are kind of jet setting around the world these days, kind of doing.
Well, sometimes,
Yeah. That's also new. He's a papa of two, so it's a little trickier. But
Yeah.
we did Paris this past year for market for
Yeah.
fall winter 2026, which was amazing. Ethan came along too. He's on
Yeah.
our buying team as well. Another hat he wears, and it was awesome. It was
tiring.
tiring, but
Yeah.
Well, I think people
More
get to
tiring than
people
being-
get to see what we want them to see, right? So
Right.
we show them, the glamorous side of it. But the hours are late and long, and I know my
This is
wife
no
is going to
way.
watch
This is
this,
no
and
way.
so no, it is with the depth of the brands that we have. There's so much to see, and we have to see it in such a short amount of time, and so
Right.
that's what becomes hectic.
And what percentage of the brands that you carry are over there, I suppose, or doing that show?
well, that's why we really had to do Paris this year. Previously, we've always gone to New York, and a lot of brands we see virtually now. After post-pandemic, it's become pretty common to book brands with either at Zoom or FaceTime. But a lot of our brands, I mean, probably with a lot that's happening geopolitically in the U.S., a lot of brands have opted to go elsewhere to show and maybe skip the U.S. So a few of our really big brands were not going, and brands like Beams Plus, it's a large brand based in Japan. They don't come to the U.S. Drake's of London, another huge brand, they stopped coming to New York. So we kind of had no choice. We really have to, especially for fall winter. You want to see the garments, you want to touch them, you want to try them on, and that's also how you build relationships with people as well. So
Totally.
yeah.
That's so fun.
We're pretty close with Mikkel from Norse Projects, and he's somebody who we can only see in Paris. So for me, at least, that's like a highlight. I love seeing him. It's a longtime friend. So
Danes are so cool.
yeah,
They're just cool at
they
everything.
get it.
Yeah.
They're just chill. They're like, you want to shop? You want to look at the clothes?
Best
Do you want
restaurants in the
beer?
world.
Yeah.
That's
Fashion,
the-
furniture, they just do
Furniture, for sure.
everything.
Yeah. Biggest inspiration for half of the stuff that makes it.
Oh yeah.
And then speaking of Ethan,
Yeah.
he's sort of become a bit of a front man for y'all. How many hats
Isn't it
does he
the
wear?
best? No,
He wears a lot of hats. We're trying to take some of the hats off, like we said, by giving responsibilities to other people. But he's amazing. I don't want to give him a bigger head, but he's been amazing. He's incredibly self-motivated. He's a go-getter, and he's just a natural in front of camera. So it kind
Built
of
for
just
TV,
made
straight up.
sense. It was never us kind of pushing him into being what he's become. He's just kind of naturally gravitated towards it, and he's made it his own thing in a lot of ways. And we collaborate on some scope on the social media and the larger projects, but You know, he's done an amazing job with the social media, and our videographer Marco as well. He
Dude,
also-
Marco kills it.
yeah, great dude. Again, just coming back to just how many pieces just fell
Fall
into
into place, for
you
sure.
know, and
That you guys put it out there, you know, or gave it an effort, or gave it the shot, you know, and
Yeah.
gave it a chance to succeed. And you know, it's, you know, I think straight up, like when it comes to personalities in Ottawa, Ethan's like one of my favorite.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we're lucky to have him. I mean, he allows Naj and I to, you know, step back and have a little bit more work-life balance.
Yeah.
You know, without Ethan, I don't know that that would be possible. And so even just that, you know,
Yeah.
not to give him too many flowers.
he's gonna kill us on the next salary show. He's just gonna sit down and play this podcast.
Yeah.
We value him. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
And I value him too as a viewer,
Yeah.
consumer of all your vids and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah. I mean, one thing, going back to the start, you know, 10 years.
Yeah.
Why Stomping Ground? Why? What prompted y'all to go into this?
Are we, you want to say something?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Uh,
will. If you
I mean,
want
elephant in
to.
the room. We all worked at one point for
Yeah.
for another Ottawa retailer,
y-
and
Normal.
Yeah,
Yeah, we worked for Yan at Normal. I did 8.5 years. Naj is not far behind.
yeah, just
that.
over 7, and we learned a lot. We learned a lot. I mean, I wasn't coming from a retail background. I studied business and economics. I was working in banking. Hated my life. Needed to do something that I love, and I ended up at Normal.
Yeah.
meeting this guy. Funny enough, we actually grew up a street away from each other for a few years in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Never knew each other.
Banana
I
heads.
never knew. Oh
Find
yeah.
out later on, but yeah, and we learned a lot. And you know, we had the ability to, you know, kind of be at the ground floor of a business that was
Growing at
Growing at
really
a
rapid. Yeah.
rapid rate, and you know, coinciding with kind of just the rise of sneaker culture and streetwear culture. So being able to witness, you know, what it looks like to scale a business like that was really helpful. But you know, eventually you kind of get to a point where, you know, there's
There's a
nowhere-
ceiling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else to go. And yeah, and I guess sometimes you question, you know, how valued you are in your role, and you think you're capable of doing
Yeah.
more, and then you're kind of limited. So it wasn't something that just happened overnight. You know, it was probably something that lingered for some time.
I think we're both dreamers to a degree. And so I think like always spitballing, you know, like, hey, you know, especially depending on, you know, the stress of the situation, like how would we do it if we were in control? How would we, you know, just any of those things. And as that feeling kind of grew within us, it just the perfect storm and kind of opportunity kind of landed in our lap to make it happen. And we just got the right push, and you know, we've had lunch with Yan in New York since then. So
Okay.
you know, there's no bad blood by any means. And yeah, I mean, full flowers. He taught us how to do a lot of things right, and you know, we're proud of our previous experience there. But I think for us, we just saw the opportunity where, you know, this is where we're at in life. You know, as we're getting older, I wasn't relating as much to what we were selling there, and
Sure.
just by progression, you know, Naj felt the same way, and here we are. So,
Yeah.
I think we also just saw an opportunity that
Yeah.
that didn't exist. You know, I've always thought for Ottawa's size and you know, income per capita, we've been, you know, vastly underserviced in the fashion industry. And you know, you go to other cities of comparable size, and there's a plethora of boutiques all giving a different spin or a different interpretation of fashion.
Right.
And we were incredibly underserviced. So I think it was, you know, opportunity combined with that gap in the market. And so it was kind of, it felt like the perfect time. Not that it wasn't a difficult decision. You know, we'd been there for
Daunting.
some time, and
Yeah.
you know, you feel like you're a part of something. But I just bought a condo with my now wife about 3 or 4 months before, and
Okay.
uh,
So this has to work.
yeah, so the timing wasn't great. I still look back and I was like, how did we do this? Like, why did Yeah.
And Callie, like we had been dating, I think for 6 months at that point.
Okay.
And so, going to her and being like, hey, I'm about to leave this salaried job that I have. And we're just going to risk it all. And for her to ride alongside that, I mean,
But I don't know. People always, I think people come up to us all the time and they'll sometimes say like, oh, it must have been terrifying. It must have been so scary. And if I'm being honest, it wasn't.
Okay.
Like there was fear. Of course, there's fear of potentially failing. But when I compare it to other things I've been scared of in my life, that decision wasn't one of them.
I think we gained a certain
go.
confidence, right? I
Yeah.
think in the back of our minds that yes, this could go sideways,
Mhm.
but I also think that we were just so like we knew that there was this kind of gap in the market. We knew what we could offer. We knew what we could do differently, and I think that the confidence that we had led us down that road, really.
And it was just outweighed by the daily joy of like, we're finally doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like we're waking up every day and
Yeah.
each day we're one step closer to getting towards, this goal that we've dreamt of. That was scribbles on a piece of paper or napkins and calls at 2 a.m. and text messages.
Totally.
So, there were fears, but when I think back to that time, I think of us, painting the ceiling and
Oh, yeah.
laughing and, Josh was framing and you were doing a million different things at once. We were
Yeah.
literally at the shop 7 days a week, early to late.
Yeah.
But when I look back at that time, I never think about the fear. I mean, I think of like how exciting that time was and how,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, when it's not your baby and then it is your baby, I mean, Craig, it's yeah, I don't know. It's so exciting even just like having this place too in this
Yeah.
vein.
I'm curious, like when you made that decision, I know previously you talked about, taking a leave of absence. When you made that decision to kind of leap in,
Yeah.
how did you meet it with? Was it more excitement? Was there fear?
Definitely
Was it-
fear.
Yeah.
Because I've just been salary kind of guy my whole
Mhm.
time, my whole life. And, Asian parents.
Yeah.
It's like, they were just like, even now, they're like, you're going back, right? You're
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
going
yeah,
back,
yeah.
right? And I'm having so much fun. Like, I seriously was enjoying my life like 1,000% right now. And I do fear going back, but then, I don't know, it's kind of calling at the same time. Like, I don't like it's just freaking expensive right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I am, but I'm so happy I've done it, and I'm like, seriously, know I can kind of go without it.
Yeah.
It's just the idea of like someday I'll be 65, 85, 95, knock on hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully, and maybe hopefully, and then is shit here still gonna sell? Is this store gonna be popping with 80-year-old gramps in the back? Like, I worry about that a little bit, and
Yeah.
there's like the tinge of me that maybe wants to seek some security in that
Mhm.
perspective. But yeah, I don't know, thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Am
I think if you
stupid?
love it,
Yeah.
it'll just,
yeah,
Very fair. I mean, what you're saying
Yeah.
totally makes sense. And I think there were definitely times along our journey where we should have thought more about the future. But I think we were just so
especially having
concerned,
kids,
yeah,
maybe?
and just
yeah.
like our own financial futures. And,
Yeah. The future
it
of
wasn't
the kids.
until, well,
Yeah.
COVID threw a huge wrench into things. That kind of threw our 5-year plan into a bit of a tailspin. But in the long run, was one of the best things to happen to us for our e-commerce business and how we're able to scale that. But yeah, one of my clients, I remember I was checking him out one time and he just retired and he was an aerospace engineer. And I complimented his watch and I was like, it was a Rolex Day-Day. And I was like, oh, it's a beautiful watch. And he's like, this is the first thing I treated myself with when I retired. And I always ask people who, are in business, like, what do you regret? What's your one regret? You're retiring now. What regret do you have from your career? And he was like, two things: that I didn't stop and smell the roses earlier, and that I didn't treat myself earlier. And that's always stuck with me. I think there was such a fear of failure that to, compensate ourselves, there was a guilt
Yeah.
surrounding rewarding ourselves. It was
Right.
always like, let's put as much as we can back into the business.
There's still remnants of that.
It still exists.
Yeah,
now,
100%.
But
yeah,
year 3, year 4, year 5, it was there were, especially after COVID,
Yeah.
you're like, now we have to just be prepared for almost anything and everything.
Right.
And we kind of
yeah.
had
Let's
to,
do aliens, guys. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
we kind of had to, give ourselves permission, and just say like, it's okay. We've worked incredibly, incredibly hard for this. And it's also, and our families and who have been along for this ride and have sacrificed alongside us, they also deserve that reward as well. And like it's still an ongoing process, but it feels like in recent years, with the work-life balance,
Yeah.
we've also seen some financial security, and we have that kind of peace of mind now, which we didn't have
Yeah.
oh my
Yes.
God, in those early years.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, tangibly, what does that look like for y'all? Like that, like, being able to celebrate it a little bit, I suppose.
It's like going to Paris, getting a nice Airbnb, having nice dinners.
Yeah, and let's
know.
compare that to first year where we're literally sitting next to each other on a Greyhound with no air conditioning, going to Toronto to do bookings.
Coming back the same day, so we don't have to get a hotel room.
Yeah.
And
Those were the sacrifices that we were like, we have to make that.
and
Yeah.
also vacation time.
Yeah.
Being able to take time off and not feel guilty is amazing. We kind of just put off travel, for the first 4 or 5 years of the business.
Yeah.
And so being able to travel with my wife and or even just take a day off and do a little staycation, or and not having that guilt. And that's combined with the amazing team of guys we have now. But I think that more than anything, being able to spend more times with family, friends, and just having the peace of mind, that's
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Balance.
Yeah. Well, and you were saying and hinting earlier that e-commerce has become such a huge part. And I would say that like Stomping Ground isn't really so much an Ottawa store these days as much as it is really like an international brand that's selling.
It's become interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. Like it's what is it, like 50% of your business more these days?
I
Like,
checked before we came. This year specifically, so if we're just talking about 2026, it is officially 50-50. So yeah.
where are we selling to most? Where's everything going?
still Canada.
Yeah,
Which is-
I pulled the analytics recently to share with Naj, and it's okay. So here's where we're at. If we're comparing, Ottawa, where we've existed physically for 10 years,
Right.
and we put a value of 10,000 visits per month.
Right.
Toronto visits to our website right now is 3.3 times that.
Wow.
And we have no physical location there.
Right.
So I was kind of making a point in text with Naj where I'm just like, for the first time and really seeing the numbers climb that direction and seeing, the growth in those analytics as well. Toronto wouldn't be far off in the equation, I think, just because of what I'm seeing, the data say, but also just, in the store, how many
Right.
times we're hearing people ask, why don't you have a Toronto store? I'm
Okay.
from Toronto. I'm now in Ottawa. I'm shopping with you guys, or I
Right.
only want to shop with you guys. When's it happening? And so we've heard this for the last 5 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
don't-
I don't know.
predictions there.
Remember that peace of mind we were just talking about?
Balance,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I'm big
yeah.
on it.
More stores,
Yeah.
more problems.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's always good to have things, in the foreground that scare you a little bit. At the same time, it's something we've talked about for years, and something that we were actually pre-pandemic looking at very seriously. Thank God that didn't happen, and we decided to hold off. But
Things happens for a reason.
it's definitely something on our radar. But again, the way our e-commerce is going, and just it feels like we've still barely scratched the surface. And we probably said this at 10 different points with e-commerce, but there's always something new. Things are always evolving. SEO, algorithms, there's always the impact of social media. There's a million different things. So you're constantly chasing. And so there's still just so much. I think we still haven't even come close to hitting our tipping point where which is crazy to say, but
it has to, if we're going to grow into a second location, wherever it might be, I know deep down there will come a point or something will come up where Naj and I look at each other and it's like, we would be daft not to do this. That is where I would like to leave it, for the time being. But it's, it's like Naj says, until we grow on Bank Street to the point where we just can't even operationally or logistically do it, we're just gonna keep doing it out of there. So yeah.
Well, I mean, there's something to say for keeping everything under one roof too. For logistically, and
but it's that clock's ticking though. That's where
we know
we're about a year or two out from being where we have to kind of.
I was hoping
figure out a new strategy.
Okay. Honestly, that's so exciting to hear.
Yeah.
Like, I love that for you guys.
But, e-commerce makes it difficult because, it's so much easier to scale. Sometimes it's one decision and you see it in real time, the impact that has from week to week.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes difficult to get really excited knowing how big an undertaking opening a physical store is. What goes is, I mean, you just went through it. Finding a location, the design, the build, hiring a team. It's just, it's endless, and whereas.
Is it the right location?
Exactly.
How much is it for the right location? Scales, right?
And it's in potentially in a city that we're not very familiar with. And we don't know the statistics, we don't know the neighborhoods, the ins and outs. We're dealing with much more competition. And there's kind of this, is the juice worth the squeeze, And
I like my life the way that it is. And so for everything to, continue the way that it's going, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
Opportunity awaits.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be a time where I get restless. I think I think
Definitely.
the trait of a lot of entrepreneurs is when it's too quiet, you feel uncomfortable and you feel like you're not doing something that you should be doing.
Yeah.
And you always find the work. And I think if we get it to a position where we feel too comfortable, we're going to go out and find discomfort somewhere. So we'll see.
And I know we've had this conversation offline, like privately, but like, should a business want to get into the e-commerce game heavily?
Yeah, 100%.
Or like any of like the SEO
if you're not on the internet with a web shop and you have physical product in your store, you're making massive mistakes. Get online right now. Get signed into Shopify. I don't know who the message is for. Hit us up in the DMs. We can answer questions if you need help. I'm here for my small businesses, but yes, 100%.
And we get it. It's daunting. Like there's
sucks.
One of our regrets was not starting sooner, and think of where we could be now had we started sooner. But it's daunting, especially in the early days where, we're so focused on the brick and mortar. We're so focused on being able to pay our staff, make sure we could keep our shelves stocked, that the idea of kind of throwing money into this ether with no guarantee of return, it was terrifying, and it was really the pandemic where it's like, well, we have no other option.
We got nothing but time.
So, and then, had we started that 3 years earlier, who knows where we'd be, but, you can't really, hindsight's 2020, but for anyone who's starting a business, I always say, start the online as early as you can. You're going to make mistakes along the way, but it just means you're going to get to where you're going a little bit quicker. Right. And so, and especially now, it's even more true now than it was 6 years ago. So
I would take it a step further. And when you look at all the tools, the free tools that exist online, even just from Google, that, you can tap into
keywords.
keywords. Google Merchant Center will connect your online Shopify to Google. So when you're searching, now it's popping up in the shopping channel. There's just all these little free things that when you take advantage of it, it's all connectivity back to your site. It creates, that optimization that, the internet and browsers want. And it's just an undervalued tool, in my opinion. You know? Yeah.
I know we've had discussion. And maybe taking like an eighth or a quarter of it. I'm just slow. But and that's one thing too. If I do end up going back to work, I will be in front of the computer a lot more. And the plan is to, be able to, at least in the back of my head and my brain, when I catch minutes here and there, like, just tinker away on that and really, really put some of that stuff into effect there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you're also wearing a million hats, and especially at this year 2 point, an online store was barely on our radar at the year 2. We were still fixing the mistakes from year 1 and year 2. So totally
Our website sucked back then.
It was a joke. It was it was kind of just like, well, we need to have a website but it was just, we didn't even know what we didn't know. Well, looking back. Yeah. But we totally get it. It's a daunting process, and combined with, the social media that you kind of need to go along with it to drive traffic to that. It's a lot to put on to, a new entrepreneur, especially if you don't have, business partners to lean on and wear those hats. So,
and that's where I'm going to say YouTube tutorials are your best friend. It's there. And I think there's a lot to be learned for free from those types of avenues, for sure.
Heck yeah. So we're now talking about a lot of things you should do. If somebody were to start out today, what would you tell them not to do?
The number one thing that comes to mind was the best advice I think that I got was from someone who was in the same space, owned a boutique, and he was like, you never want to drown in inventory. Always be chasing inventory. You never want to drown in it. And
we were at a Raised by Wolves Vans release. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's something that's so simple, but in fashion retail especially, I mean, one of the biggest challenges is buying and optimizing buying. You're looking at trends, and the natural inclination is always to, well, if I buy more, I'll have it. I can sell more. And it's really easy. A lot of businesses drown in inventory, and then you have to fire sale it out, and then that has, a lingering impact on your brand.
Sure.
You want to be chasing in those early years, especially chase. If you have the dollars there, then they're there to spend.
And so I think, buying conservatively, and limiting yourself. And one, it forces you to find the best product and choose what you think is the absolute best product and invest in that product. And then as that product sells and you have that money coming in, then you restock. And so inventory management, as boring as it is probably the number one thing where I've seen a lot of people in our business. What often does them in is not being able to manage inventory and not being able to manage cash flow as a result. And then having to
trickle, it's a huge trickle down effect, right?
Yeah,
so cascades, it hits everything.
Yeah. So I think, buying less, buying conservatively, and ultimately when you do that, I think you ensure that you're putting the best product in your stores, the things that you feel most strongly about. Yeah. And then you'll actually convey that to your clients and customers as well.
Right.
So I think it's multi-pronged, but I think that was the best advice I got that I still think about every single time I'm buying.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 years, 11 years later.
Well, a bit more of a liberal with the buying, and so I've got him to reel me in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a numbers guy.
He is the banker. Back in the day.
Big time.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, has there been a product that you all thought would crush that flopped?
Is there a brand?
I don't know.
That you can
so
talk about.
we roast each other if we really like something individually. It comes into the store and then sells poorly. Like, we behind the scenes take it out on each other.
We take notes as well.
Yeah.
When we're buying.
It's that might be the most serious thing we do. in terms of the buying.
Yeah.
which is-
So items will come in and that we're really stoked on, or I'm really stoked on, or Josh is really stoked on, and they will just shit the bed. Like one piece sold out of 6. It's the end of the season. It's on sale. It's still not selling on sale.
and then we talk about
And
it
we,
a lot.
constantly.
Like, I get it. We,
Yeah.
like there's things that I've put in our videos, and then they've been on like front tables, and there's
Still
just
no
been a
wow.
lot of energy put into
Okay.
some thoughts. So I think it's less, to answer your question, a product thing, or sorry, a brand thing, and definitely more like case by case. Now, in the beginning, where there's some, shoots and some misses for sure. But I mean, prior to year 3, I don't personally remember, so I can't.
Yeah,
speak
it
to
was
that.
less. There were in the beginning, the early days, there were some brands that.
Okay. I don't want to put shade on it.
No. But there were
but-
brands that we were stoked on. Like there was, a
Or they
Japanese
didn't,
brand
or they didn't
that's-
age well.
Okay,
There's just
yeah.
certain things that didn't age well.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. So I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, there were some brands where it was just like this was a terrible financial decision that we might not recover from. In that
So-
first year, like Tiger King style, where it was like I was dodging calls, and but those are a
There's
few,
2 that stick.
2 brands. Yeah, there were 2 brands where it was
Oh,
just like
shit.
we have no clue what we're doing that first year, and we had really really high. Like we celebrated when we got those brands, and they were terrible.
I'll talk
for
about one of
us.
them. I'm fine.
Oh no, I don't want to.
There's no shade. We work with one of them still.
Oh, okay, yeah, we could say.
Yeah, North Face. So our first season of North Face, when we went in, we were like, we have to have outerwear. Like, we have to.
Right.
And we, there's a brand we had initially. It didn't work out. And then through friends, we got linked with North Face. And we just bought too much. This is that classic. That was the one thing, season 1, that we didn't follow the magic rule on, and we got burnt. And yeah, we just ended up on a lot of inventory that we didn't consider things like Sporting Life being down the block and also having North Face.
True.
Maybe having a little
Putting on
discount
discount
going on
Very
all the time.
regularly.
So there's a few things there, but North Face was one of them where we just bit off more than we could chew.
Yeah, I think a lot of the risk now, because we typically buy conservatively, especially if it's a new brand or a new commodity, I think now a lot of the risk is mitigated just because of the traffic that we receive, that we can usually take a flyer on most things and we'll sell. We can still, sell out or come close to selling out because we're not buying that much of it.
We've also learned our lesson, though. Like,
Yeah.
in fairness, I think that whenever there's an introduction of a new brand, we almost have the approach of underbuying it. Not only does it help create a demand in terms of like, okay, well, here's some scarcity to it, but we never want to bite off too much. If aside from us believing in it and the team believing in it, how is it going to be interpreted?
Yeah.
So we'll just buy less, see how it goes. And if we get, again, chase your product, right? So at that point, chase.
Yeah.
Melbourne Golf is a great example of that.
Yeah. Sometimes there's brands that we have high hopes for and they land and they just go through the roof, and the demand
Is Malvin
flourishing.
growing?
Malbon Golf is definitely
Full
definitely
flowers.
one of
This
them.
guy was the acquisition, providing there.
Okay.
No clue, and still, it's ridiculous. Golf season's just starting, but that's a good, a pleasant surprise where you have an idea of what this brand can do, and it comes in and it's just on fire. And
Yeah. I've definitely noticed a couple folks coming through with Melvin here.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
always like, oh, yo, where'd you cop your Melvin at? And it's Stomping.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a brand that I've admired for some time, and it's they were kind of the first golf brand to, almost mimic more of a streetwear label.
Right.
Where both in aesthetic and how they release their items and partnerships that they've done with other brands, and so it made sense. It's the first real
Going to
golf
their shop
brand
in
that
Soho.
we've carried.
Yeah.
So it just kind of made sense, and it's been great.
Nice. I don't want to jinx it by just calling future flops or anything like that.
Yeah.
But is there anything that folks are sleeping on that you feel strongly about presently?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
That is an excellent question. I feel like we talk about things all the time where it's like it's something to fall sleeping on. I mean, I think from a fashion perspective,
Yeah.
there are definitely like like I say all the time is suiting.
Okay.
You know, when you travel and you go to Europe, and guys are always wearing suiting, and it's
Right.
relaxed fit suiting's really big right now. I any excuse I have to wear a suit, I'll throw a suit on, or even if it's just a blazer. And it's something where I'm always surprised how few guys in Ottawa, or you just how rarely you see people wearing suits, and then you travel and you see it all over the place.
Everywhere.
So that's something where I feel like we've kind of invested in suiting, and it's
Okay.
done all right, but it's not amazing.
Okay.
You know, and I always feel like maybe we're just not there yet. You know, I think Ottawa sometimes it takes a little bit of time for
Yeah.
the trends to kind of
It's coming around.
Yeah.
Like I think the chore coat wave is definitely
yeah,
like
we're-
full
we're
swing
in
right
short
now,
coat
you
wave,
know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Ottawa discovered short coats.
What are the hottest short coats right now?
Le Mont Saint Michel.
On San Michelle.
Yeah.
And Portuguese flannel. Like we just got these linen Portuguese flannel ones, and it's like we bring in 6 and they evaporate within a week, and I'm ordering more and more and more. So Ottawa, that's the thing. Like Ottawa, like flannels, nobody sells more flannels than Ottawa. Like we're the flannel capital
Oh.
of Canada.
Okay.
So it's like
Our
that
fall
commodity.
Portuguese flannel orders are insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so short coats has been a nice as well, you know, like it's definitely part of the Ottawa uniform now.
Yeah, going back to your question, I would say, you know, we've made a pretty healthy investment in running at this point. And so the running program has been interesting because I was personally finding that whenever I visited, you know, shops for running gear, because we didn't have it,
Right.
I was going in and, you know, I have a lot of tattoos and maybe a certain look, but I felt I was being treated a certain way, you know, by kind of the old school running shop mentality. And this is something like I constantly ended up like talking about with Naj, and you know, especially as we get older and we want to take better care of ourselves, this is something that, you know, we like to sell what we talk about. And it led me down a path of like, okay, if I'm having this experience, who else is having this experience out there? And why don't we have something that just offers like a nice kind of curated package of, you know, running shoes, running apparel, and it's been received well. I mean, we have a great Montreal brand called Balmoral.
Okay. Yeah.
Of
course.
Not sure when this is going to launch, but we are working on something over race weekend with them.
Fun.
But yeah, going back to it, like it's been received well, but I'm like, oh, you know, like I feel like we will see it over the summer or as we get more into summer.
Well, and over race weekend, that could be a huge bump in terms of promoting, you know.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we're not there yet.
Yeah, I think the expectation we had going in was just higher with just, I mean, how much running has kind of been pushed to the forefront as not just a physical activity, but also a social.
It's like running and golf, right?
So,
yeah.
So we kind of just had this, we're going to bring this in, it's going to sell out. We brought in, you know, New Balance running, Saucony running, Nike running, and
there's been some successes within it,
but there's been some failure.
Because there's some big players right now. Because I've heard Nike running. It's it's on the come up again, but
I'm super biased. Yeah. I am a diehard Nike guy, and I run in Nike. I think the running program is great. I understand from a runner's perspective, though, that everyone has different shaped feet, and so there's just going to be shoes that are better for other shapes of feet, and how you run matters as well. There's a lot that plays into it, but yeah, there's been a few hits and misses for sure. The Nike program itself is great. I think we look at it more as like, what do we in store run in? What do we gravitate towards brand wise? Is this something that we can sell, you know, or do we have access to this? And so Nike was a constant. You know, we were talking to our rep at the time, and he was like, you know, that's a whole nother category. But over time, they finally like warmed up to the idea and opened the running category at Nike to us, and so we then had access to that. it's just, yeah, it's a toss up, you know, like I want to sell running stuff that I run in and that I believe in, and the rest of the squad at the shop does too. I mean, it's easier just to sell things that I'm like, well, I use this, you know, like this is what I have, and I love this for these reasons. And so, um,
Well, and with the
that's the-
videos too, y'all become like, you know, such trusted voices, you know?
we're just trying to be real about it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things since the beginning is, you know, we never want to come across as anything but honest, and we try to be our most authentic selves in store or when we're on video.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's served us well, that people know we're not just trying to sell for the sake of selling.
Right.
You know, we want you to come in and find something that you love, you enjoy, makes you feel more confident, and you have a good time when you're with us in store. And that's kind of been the forefront and most paramount thing. And I think, you know, that's probably served us better than anything, is that we've developed a lot of trust with our local clients, and as well as online, where we have incredibly valued clients who've been shopping with us for years that we've never met in person before.
Yeah.
Or
but
we
speak
have.
with them
Yeah.
And
regularly.
they've traveled, you know,
Yeah.
to come and
Sure.
say hi. Shout out Serge, you know.
Serge.
Yeah. Shout out
Serge.
Alex Amato.
Yeah, there's
Kyle
a few.
Orlando.
Yeah, there's a few, you know, but they've become friends through just communicating, and you know, it's almost less about sales sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's sort of to a detriment, like the approach that I sort of take here. It's like, I almost kind of don't care about sales enough, baby. And just like, you know, like, hey, let's do a podcast instead of like putting time into selling something specifically or anything like that. But I don't know. To a certain degree, this is the kind of stuff that just gets me excited.
Yeah.
I think that's it, man. We came into streetwear, and streetwear always had, like, any shop I ever visited, not in Ottawa, I'll throw that out there, but when I'd visit other cities, I would be met with this kind of streetwear attitude wherever I went. And so I almost felt like, you know, where punk rock was a lot more like inviting for me, where it was just like, oh, hey, we're into the same music or similar music, you know, let's hang out. I found streetwear was almost like there's almost like a little bit of like an attitude there.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, it was something like when I was, because I came from like skateboarding and punk rock where it was just different. And so to have that kind of, you know, it was like, okay, this is a little intimidating, you know, like why so serious? You know, it's just clothes, like.
Sure.
And I think that was something that was just really big for us, where it's just like, you don't know if somebody has, you know, ever seen any of these brands before or anything. And so, you know, there's no stupid question. Like, let us teach you what we know. You know, we love this for a reason. Let us share with you.
And I mean, on that note too, what's flying off the shelf? What's the number 1, 2, 3 sellers these days? What's crazy?
I mean, as much as Nike is kind of going through it from a stock price perspective, Nike still crushes. You know, it's still
brand on the
still
sportswear brand on the
crushes.
planet.
You know, the brand recognition, and it's still crushing. So Nike's still very much up there.
Yeah, the Pegasus Premium, to be specific, is like that shoe right now for us. Like,
It's the one on your feet right now.
it happens to be, yes. My good friend Matt Simpson came in and he's like, I just want a shoe that I can like put miles on and walk around. I gave him these. He texted me the other day. He's like, man, I'm so happy. Dope. Thank you. So yeah, these Naked and Famous denim.
Yeah, selvage denim is having a
back,
resurgence. It's back in a big way. So Naked and Famous crushing, you know, just flying out the door. We brought in Edwin as well, another selvage line, doing incredibly well. So yeah, selvage denim, short coats, Nike.
Mers B, I think, is having a moment.
Mers B short.
Yeah, so I think it started with the bear shirt that everyone's kind of come to know, but there's a brand that kind of took something that they were doing very, very well and really built out a collection that's strong around it. Yeah.
Okay. Like since like the t-shirt?
Yeah, no, that collection, every time we see it, seems to just get bigger and bigger.
It's a difficult thing to do. A lot of brands become known for one specific item. It's a bit of a flash in the pan, and then it fizzles out. The t-shirt still does incredibly well, but they've branched out, and now we bring in, honestly, a bit every season we're adding a new category. So that's been a great brand for us as well. Yeah.
As long as the quality's there, right?
Quality's amazing. The Germans don't mess around when it comes to manufacturing, you know, including like the all the loop wheel product as well. So
Okay. Well, we got some questions from folks.
I was wondering about that.
It's not too many, but a couple.
Cool.
Caru Thompson. What's next for SG Women?
It's a good question. So we're particular about what we're gonna bring in. I mean, we face space constraints at the store, and so sometimes it's this tough conundrum of, you know, we feel already like certain brands don't have enough representation in the store, and so before we branch out into like almost like a whole nother field, you know, do we give that real estate to those brands that kind of deserve that? But I mean, the good news is that we've started in footwear, and that's evident from the website. But there's some apparel coming in. There's a few interesting things. Can we drop the bomb? Like,
I'd rather not.
no?
That it's
There's
not-
like a
not
really
here.
big one.
There's
Like,
a,
I'm just
yeah,
gonna throw
there's
that
a few
out there.
brands that we have coming in for fall winter 2026.
Okay.
This is the first season where on the apparel side, you know, we've really committed to
Okay.
bringing in some pieces that on our men's side do incredibly well.
Yeah.
And you know, we've kept the buying process very simple. You know, it's really timeless, classic, quality, and because we never call ourselves a men's boutique. We have
If clothes fit and it looks nice, wear it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Well, especially
that's-
these days, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is so fluid.
and that reflects with the people who shop with us. And so the issue has often just been sizing. You know, I love this thing, but I just can't get it in my size. So a lot of the brands we're bringing in, you know, they're relatively unisex. It's just a matter of us having, you know, sizing options available that we didn't have in the past. And you know, we wanted to do it proper justice. You know, it's difficult to just bring in sprinkle a piece here and there. So I think this way we can actually have a proper collection of items coming in that
We never want it to seem like an afterthought. Like, if we're gonna do it, we want to do it well. So
Yeah. Cool. So looking forward to
Yeah.
sure.
so you see a history announcement too.
Yeah. I have to make a big video about it.
There will be.
Yeah.
I've been cooking something up.
Heck yeah. Loney by Taiki says, what are y'all most excited for the next 5?
The next 5 months, 5 years.
Years.
Oh, okay.
Hard to say. Who knows, right? You threw away a 5-year plan once.
I'm gonna have a teenager, so like that's the first thing that pops in my head. I just like not ready.
Dang. Teenager. We're there already.
In 5 years, yes, apparently.
From
in 5
childless
years.
to teenager.
Yeah, when this started, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one for me. I don't know. 5 years.
I think in 5 years there will definitely be another space, whether it's another SG or whether it's something else in the retail space, which we've also
We like to allude
looked
to
at different
things.
things.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think being able to build another space, design another space. I think I've had ideas in my head for a really long time of building a space and then kind of possibly venturing into a slightly different lane and then discovering all these cool things within that lane. That's pretty exciting. Yeah.
The discovery's half the fun, right?
Yeah. So amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a lot about maybe Toronto being the option, but who knows? Maybe there's room for another cousin of Stomping Ground in Ottawa.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, we'll see. We love Ottawa. I mean, Naj and I grew up here. We got into that earlier. But especially in like the streetwear world that we were coming from at that point, you know, it was too easy to move to Montreal or Toronto to kind of continue that vision. That's what I wanted. We didn't want to do that. Like, this is home for us. And not only do I want to raise a family here, but I love Ottawa. Yeah, I'm about it. You know, this is where we were raised. And so Ottawa's very important to us.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hence why the name Stomping Ground.
Yeah. Literally.
Why does Stomping Ground have to do with all?
Just because it was our home.
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
Okay.
Our
everyone-
place of familiarity.
Everyone was leaving, you know,
Yeah.
everyone in our industry was going
Word,
to Toronto,
okay.
Montreal, Vancouver, New York, LA,
Yep.
just one by one. And, you know, we never wanted to leave. Yeah. we love this city. You know, we saw an opportunity at the city, and if everyone leaves, you're never going to build anything. So, you know, we're proud of the fact that we're born and bred in Ottawa, and we've grown what SG is into what it is now.
Yeah.
You know, and then hopefully, you know, we've inspired other people to also try to build something, whether it's in fashion, whether it's in food, whether in anything that, you know, there is a market for it in Ottawa. And if you build something good that you're passionate about, you genuinely love, that you'll likely achieve some level of success. So
yeah. Well, that's an amazing segue because we're going to lead to our quick round of Ottawa questions here.
Okay.
What does Ottawa need these days?
You know what I was gonna say, and this is you know, shout out to Phono. That's something I thought Ottawa needed for a long time, like a proper listening bar. Every time I travel, I always look out. It's something that I try to do in other cities, and just to see the response. I mean, the design space is beautiful. The sound and to see how excited people are about that. That's something that I think Ottawa desperately needed, and they're doing an awesome job.
Heck yeah. I think there could be more pizza slices.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
Okay.
I'm gonna go there.
Pizza slices.
Yeah, pizza slices specifically.
Okay, slices. Okay.
Give me just a good on-the-go slice, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the places are few and far between.
Yeah, shout out Heartbreakers. They do slices.
Yes, of course,
New
of course.
location,
New
right?
location,
Slices
amazing.
sounds
They do slices.
dangerous,
Yes,
but
very dangerous.
So good.
I'm good friends with Chef Mike and Bernie, and so 10 of Cups has been something looming. And I talked to Bernie this week, and hopefully this is the pressure that he's say to keep, you know, on the vision. But I'm excited. 10 of Cups would be a good addition.
Are they still doing pop-ups mostly these days?
No, but they have a spot in Vanier. It looks like it's gonna go ahead. So
A word.
and
Heck yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to divulge that, but
Well, here's the hope. Let me know afterwards.
Sorry,
It
guys.
is. We can cut it out if need be.
I'm
But
sure
that's
it's fine.
exciting.
I'm sure it's fine.
What do you think is missing?
Yeah,
Oh, you're not supposed to ask me.
yeah.
these.
Throw it right back.
Turning the tables.
Oh, I think it's missing. I mean, more just like it's coming around. It really is. But like, I don't know, just like pride. I think
That's a good one.
in our city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really like being advocates
Mhm.
and being like, fuck no, we are a global city and we're not fully there in some
Yeah.
ways, but in a lot of ways we are punching above our weight class.
100%.
I don't know, it's exciting. Like, you know, when people come to town, like I'm the first to be like, well, you gotta go check out this spot and this spot, this spot. We fucking rock. It's gonna be awesome here, you know? And you know, more often than not, people come with negative sort of attitudes or perspectives, and I'm just like, well,
I think we're getting rid of that kind of
moniker.
Big time. I mean, I watched a bit of your podcast on Mexico, and when you're talking about the restaurants, and that's probably been biggest barometer is when I travel, where I eat, important. You know, I'm planning every meal, and
he plans. I eat.
Okay.
yeah. And you know, we're in Paris,
Lovely
New York
arrangement.
a lot, and so we're going to these, you know,
Right.
Michelin star, critically acclaimed restaurants.
Yeah.
And so many times I'm like, I've had better in Ottawa. Like I've had a better meal at North and Navy or at Town.
Or I've had,
you know,
better chocolate mousse in Armpire.
Well,
tomato.
and since that podcast with Adam,
Yeah.
I believe Michelin is now in Ottawa.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
pretty sure.
heard from
So
those
that's
rumblings
exciting.
behind the
Okay.
scene. Yeah.
And then Petite Primrose over on Quebec
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
They already are eligible.
Oh yeah,
So
they're
here's
great.
the-
I love them.
wonderful.
Yeah, and just even like, you know, natural wine with Arlo, and I think there's, you know, 10 years ago when I'd have people come from out of town, from Toronto or Montreal, be like, "Well, where should I go? What should I do?" And I kind of start sweating, being like, "Oh, where should I?" You know, there's like one or two spots, and I think we have, you know, there's an assortment of places where I would stack them up against any major metropolitan city that you're gonna have a good time, you're gonna enjoy the food, you're gonna enjoy the drink, and I think you're right. I think we need more pride. I think even us sometimes we have this kind of like,
Well, why
little
did we ever
brother
accept that we're
attitude
boring?
of-
You know, like people would say it to us, and I would just
Yeah.
like, I wasn't like, fuck that. I was just like, like I didn't fight it.
Yeah.
I never knew maybe how to fight it. I don't know.
Well, I think you're fighting it in building the business that you've built.
Yeah.
building the business that we built, because they just didn't exist to the degree that they'd exist now.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think, it really was sort of a government town. I think, I come from a government family, and, I kind of get it, like, to a certain degree, but I think that's really changed.
Yeah.
And I,
Thank God.
the two of y'all are huge inspirations.
Thank you.
Amongst so many others, Matthias of Phono,
Yeah.
whose episode will be dropping just before yours.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
Yeah, it's
Good call.
there's so many great people.
Yeah.
Amber, my partner, who's
Yeah.
just, I don't know, like flowers to her. She's so incredible. So, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
I think it's getting there. I think this generation is looking at things differently
Yeah.
and realizing that, we're really fortunate to be in the city that we're in.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, I think we're one
Yeah.
of the best cities you can be in Canada, in North America.
Opportunities exist.
with
It's
the
still
opportunity.
somewhat affordable, right?
And yeah,
in
yeah.
comparison to bigger cities.
But just with opportunity versus disposable income, I think there's just still a disparity between people actually looking for things to do
Yeah.
and buy and enjoy
Yeah.
and having the money to do so.
Yeah.
I think it's still a great place to open up a business.
Heck yeah. On that note, who's killing it? I guess we kind of talked about that already, but who's killing it in Ottawa right now?
We have a list that we actually give out at the store.
Okay.
It's just drink and food. So we, highly debated list. And we do that because so often we get people that just they're like, oh, I'm visiting town. It's like, okay, well, you found us here.
Right. So gun to your head. What are you going with?
What are we doing?
Do
Restaurants and food,
one
like
thing.
shops?
One thing.
Just
Doesn't
anything?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I'm not going to go shop. I'm going to keep it food because there's more
Okay.
places that I like. It's something that I think about every time I travel, and it's my comfort space.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say two places: North and Navy and Town. I think those are two places where consistently, I think, deliver such a high quality product.
Yep.
The people there are amazing. You feel the love, and I've been going for years and years and years, and it never disappoints. And I'll stack it against restaurants in New York, Paris, Rome, and it makes me happy that these things exist in Ottawa. So those would be my two picks.
Both of them are super easy to love because I think the people behind them
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mark Glory, amazing, and they kind of become a fabric in the city. And I think of like the milestones I've had at those places as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. I'm coming up empty.
Coming up empty.
I mean, we kind of, I think Phono was
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about that as being.
I think that I don't know. Can I give a shout out to Sean Scallon? I mean, he's been a friend for a very long time. I've known him since I was like 14. It's a weird thing to think about, but just in terms of music and where I come from, the background I come from, Sean's forever kind of inspired me over time. And at one point, I wanted to work in music, and Sean somewhat convinced me out of that. And I just, I'm watching what he's doing this year and his programming, and I don't know, I think live music's in a great place right now. Totally. And then we have these amazing venues popping up, even history coming to Ottawa, that's something, giving Ottawa a venue of that size, to have, different ranges and places, I think is important. So I don't know, especially after the pandemic, I think there's been a bit of a return in that regard where people are looking for that experience that they couldn't get.
Well, I think with all of us just being online so much, it's like,
Connect with other humans.
Yeah,
Get
I
off
think
your phones.
That's a good shout. Especially growing up when we did in the early to mid 2000s, where it felt like we were going to a show a week. There was always something happening, multiple shows on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, something possibly happening at Barrymore's or Babylon. Yeah. But I think people are
yeah, exactly.
searching for the live experience and also ways to connect with people that, isn't just on our phones.
Yeah.
So that's a good shout. I'm really excited about the new music venues coming in. So I think that's something where we're definitely underserviced. There's so many artists visiting Ottawa.
There's not
compared to
there's not. It's coming. I mean, I'm watching. I'm seeing it.
Well,
It's
I see
great.
the dates, right? And they always
Yeah.
it's Toronto, Montreal.
Yeah.
You know?
We're a secondary market, and so it becomes tough because unless a band really wants to spend a bunch of time in Canada, it's just not worth it. So, I always hit up Sean. I'll be like, so and so's, what's up? I see a Montreal date.
Yeah.
I see a hole after Montreal. Is this possible? And he's like, they're playing 1,000 people venue every other place on tour.
Right.
Ottawa can't. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But
Sean's gone.
shout out Sean.
Yeah. Ottawa hacks. Is there anything that you do that like could help someone's life? Any sort of hack that you have personally that's that you could share that you don't mind giving away?
Ottawa has a problem with zipper merging, so I'm gonna throw that out. I know that's like left field, but when we're driving, it's okay to zipper merge. It's okay to, drive right up to the end of a lane and then just, wait your turn and get right in there.
Okay.
And I think we're too polite.
Assuming that the folks by the time it gets to the end will let you in, no problem.
But that's what you should do because it's statistically
Oh,
it's
no.
proven.
Big time
That's what
disagree.
happens.
I also disagree.
Big
I'm
time
gonna
disagree.
Yeah, you guys are
You
nuts.
people are the worst.
I'm gonna
You
get
guys
in there
aren't
when I
zipper
can.
merging.
No, man.
Uh,
No. Like society has rules for a reason.
I don't know if I
Society has
trust
rules.
others like
When
that.
we don't follow the rules,
Oh man.
we're inviting chaos. Yeah.
I have a friend, George Herbert, who would make a strong argument on my side.
Sure.
I think he's old enough that if you get to that age and you want to zipper merge,
We're here, man.
we're
I'm
not,
zipper
sure.
merging. All
We're
day. I
not.
don't have
Well-
time to wait.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of a Ottawa hack.
Ottawa hack, yeah.
A sweet life hack.
I don't know. I don't know if you have the ability to change your schedule. I guess like my wife works for the government,
Yeah.
and if you can kind of, instead of doing 8 to 4 or the 8:30 4:30, if you can switch it and do the 10 to potentially 6,
Yeah.
the amount of time that you save commuting when you add that
Yeah.
into a year, you're possibly saving like 2 to 3 weeks almost, or 2 weeks of time.
Then you don't even need
hours-wise,
to zipper
and
merge.
then think of what you could be doing
Yeah.
with that 2 weeks of time. That's enough
Yeah.
time to invest in something, work on a skill, a hobby,
Call
just
your
spend time
grandma.
with your family, call your grandma.
Yeah.
So
like it.
so that's the only thing, schedule hacking
Yeah. I
to
love it.
avoid traffic, because that's also been on the rise.
Yeah, I've done
Well,
compared to like
What was the 4-day work week coming
Yeah.
in from the office? It's only
yeah.
it could be a
If you do go back, would you potentially be in the office
4 days.
4 days a week?
Possibly.
Would that be an easy transition?
Fortunately, we have an apartment right above here, and so my office is only about 5-6 blocks away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Visit.
that's not the worst.
Okay.
But
That's
I'm still not looking forward.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It is what it is. We'll see.
yeah.
Boys, was there anything we didn't talk about that we should talk about? Anything left out?
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess
Really covered the bases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to my team, so we did that.
I guess with our relationship, something we didn't talk about is, the importance of having a business partner
Okay.
who is more than a business partner. And that's something where I attribute a lot of our success, is because we're not business partners. I always say we're brothers more than anything. We're brothers before we're friends, before we're business partners.
Yeah.
And we've worked together for so long, and we know each other so well, and we've been through so much together, the good times, the bad times, all these crazy life experiences. And we genuinely want success for the other person as much as we want it for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's such a unique gift, like beyond just the shared skills and talents that this person might have, but being able to pick each other up when we're down, whether it's just a text in the morning, words don't even need to be exchanged. We can kind of just feel each other's energy,
Right.
and we don't even have to comment on it. And we kind of just, we'll pick each other up when we need it. And because, there's going to be ups and downs. And, that's, I think, one of the biggest contributors to our success is just our relationship. the different skills we bring to the table and how we're able to work together.
Yeah, I think in addition to that, I've always talked about how, my strengths might be his weaknesses and vice versa. And instead of, fighting against that, we've just embraced it where it's just like, okay, you're really good at these things. These are the things that naturally like you should be handling. And so we've been able to, come together with our friendship and this relationship in a way where it's just like, okay, well, whatever it may be, y- you know, who's going to handle it? And we kind of excel in each other's opposites.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, we're
I get it.
we're same different, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Your book of meals. Is he
I tend to be a little bit more chaotic and he's a little bit more refined, So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing.
Amazing. And I mean, that's probably my relationship with Amber for sure. I got a chaotic one here for sure.
It works, man. There's something about it.
Yeah. And I mean, one note is that you mentioned, you guys want to see each other succeed more so than just for each other. I can't help but say, you've helped me so much here as well.
Cheers.
I know that you guys are just big advocates for the city. Always down to help everyone. And just thanks for making us look good, out there.
Yeah, thanks.
Pleasure, man. Likewise.
Boys,
Yeah. Cheers.
appreciate you. Oh, appreciate you.
Man, think about it. We've known you now for how long? It's been like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know normal days.
Dude, you were shooting
Still remember
photos
shooting
for the normal blog.
normal
I know.
You know?